Yeah, so don't know why they kept it going for those extra few seconds, but hey, friendos, boy, are we in for a ride today. Yep, as we can see, she's here. Oh boy, 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 she is here. Jean Grey, the telepath and psionic superhero who possesses a dark power, the Dark Phoenix. And we're not talking about that awful last version with Jessica Chastain, who completely stunk up the film with her wooden acting, or even the other not as great Dark Phoenix with Famke Janssen. Although I personally still have a soft spot for that film. But yeah, let's watch this again because this is amazing. So you can see there on the New York cab, tier 4, plain and simple. So we have our heroes all lined up. Beast looking menacing. Angel doing his best model poses. And out pops Jean. And we have been dreading slash waiting for this moment. But the cinematics of this, let me just say, the animation team, the sneak peek team have really, really outdone themselves. You can hear the cables whipping back and forth of the bridge as it shakes. And whilst she looks a little bit sus there, and while Angel's too busy doing his blue steel, there's voice acting. You know, the cinematic, the pan around here is amazing. And this really does remind me of so many iconic bridge scenes that we've seen in comic book movies, especially Marvel comic book movies. We've seen it in Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, the X-Men films. This is incredible. Really, really top quality stuff. So hats off. I gotta say, if Marvel Future Revolution died so that we could get this kind of quality in Future Fight, awesome. I'll take it every day. So yeah, this really does remind me of, like I say, the fight at the end of the original X-Men 3, The Last Stand. Only there we have the showdown, not with Cyclops, but in the film, it was actually Logan. Let's pop that in here now so you can see. So you can see there, I think it's the Golden Gate Bridge there in the movie. And obviously because James Marsden was off to film Superman Returns, they made Logan the main focal point of this end fight scene. Although let's face it, in the films Logan was always the main guy anyway. But yeah, there was where we had the Famke Janssen Dark Phoenix, and now we're getting her a game. Oh, it's exciting, but not everyone is excited. A lot of people have PTSD. And you can see that those 12 people clearly do have PTSD, remembering how Timeline was. Because, oh boy, it was a doozy. So yeah, we knew at some point we were going to get a native tier 2 become a tier 4. And let's be honest, it was only ever going to be one of 3 was going to be the first most likely candidate. And all of them have only ever really been meta in PvP as opposed to PvE. Now we could have had Thanos, and to be honest we only recently got his Obsidian King outfit, so that would have been really bad, but he has always been in and around the meta right back to his Secret Wars outfit. So if we'd have had him with a new uniform, people would have gone mad. I surmised yesterday and since the first sneak peek that we could have been getting a tier 4 Logan. He's had a mixed run with his uniforms, let's be honest. He hasn't always seen the justice that he potentially deserves, but he had a long and storied history in the PvP meta, going back with his original classic and his one-armed look. He was really up there for a good couple of years. But the longest running, undisputed, undefeated queen for a good 2-3 years was Jean. Now, I didn't even have her most recent uniform because even though it got rid of her blast type disadvantage by making her universal, so she didn't have the type disadvantage in any fights, and it gave her some slight buffs with increased damage and some slightly different skills, this uniform didn't really move the needle. And this X-Men Red uniform could still do the job, and she was an absolute monster. She really absolutely destroyed everyone for so long. You can see it's been a long time since I've touched her. She's still got a CCP of Greed on her. We have just a random 2-star artifact, type 4 type enhancement, and we got a few Odin's Blessings. Some of those might be a bit outdated. We'll have to wait and see what she needs with this new uniform. She may need more HP. We don't know how she fits in with today's meta. But it's interesting because we've just gone through weekly reset, and the first thing everyone used to do after weekly reset was rush to this screen to see if she was restricted. And surprise, surprise, just because her update is this week, she's restricted in Vibranium. Of course she is. Yeah, that just makes sense. So unfortunately we cannot do any fights in battle, but we can certainly have a look at some of the top players and go into a few friendly fights. I'm not really sure. It's been so long since I've used her. What kind of team I would go for her? I'd probably use her with Adam and Emma because she does have her own debuff lead. It's not as good as Sentry's because obviously Sentry has the attack on it as well. And it's annoying because I spent so much time just getting Emma Frost and Mystique up. I've run out of mutant materials, as you can see, and blast books. So I'm going to have to replenish those before working on the likes of Polaris and getting Jean to tier 4. God knows how much it's going to cost in terms of materials. So let's quickly throw together just a generic team. Let's give her Sentry's lead because his is a bit better. It has her debuff, but like I say, it also has the attack. So we'll give her that. And then we'll also just throw in Emma. Let's just say Emma Frost because we've got her at tier 3. Even though we still haven't finished her off. Actually, I would probably run a team with Adam Warlock as opposed to Sentry. But I wouldn't use Jean either. I haven't used her for a while, and you'll see why. Because while she did tower above everyone else for the longest time in PvP, nowadays she just doesn't have what it takes. As you can see, Agent Venom is absolutely obliterating her, and even though she gets a few hits off and she procs her healing a couple of times, she still is down within what 15 seconds twice to Agent Venom. Now given that she's blast and he's combat, you know, yeah, you could say type advantage doesn't matter that much, but she should be doing a lot better than that in 2022. Now, when you say, yeah, even Sentry and even my Emma Frost, although admittedly we haven't even got anywhere close to finishing building her, even they struggled against Agent Venom, and you're right. And obviously considering we picked the top player in Vibranium League, Andrew KC, but we could pick any of the other top players. Let's go with ZX here. He's got a completely different team, and this team is pretty close to what I run. Gore, Thanos, I run with Hulk and not Shuri, but I am seeing a lot of Shuri. If she's really popular in timeline, guys, let me know, because damn, she just obliterated Jean there with her 4th skill. That was Jean's first life gone in a heartbeat. But yeah, let me know if you guys are using Shuri, because I am seeing an awful lot of her these days in timeline. Or if I should do a video, maybe having a look and seeing what her potential is like, because as we can see, Jean cannot stand up to the current meta, and she hasn't been able to in a while. And a lot of people were happy about that because they finally got that monkey off their back. But sadly, she is back with a vengeance. And whilst Gore and Thanos and Hulk and Adam and Emma have been having a field day in the last 18 months or so, I think it's safe to say that unless they do a complete 180 on her character and make her PvP meta, which I really don't see happening, especially with Polaris coming. I think Polaris is going to be the PvE Blast Mutant. So yeah, this is the team that I normally run with Thanos, Gore and Hulk. But I can imagine this new Jean is going to absolutely just wreck all of these, and it's going to be scary to see how strong they really make her. One can only wonder. But yeah, like I say, I'm going to be building Adam, finishing building Adam. Maybe I'll put Sentry in a team, but again, we shall have to wait and see what effects her uniform actually gives her before we get too ahead of ourselves and start worrying about who we're going to put in a team with her. So there we have it. Jean Grey is going to be coming in, and as for what kind of build we're going to need to see on her, again, we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping that they keep her, even though she's going to be a villain now. I'm hoping that they keep her universal, but honestly I can see her going back to being Blast. It shouldn't make too much of a difference either way, but obviously when it comes to just those little increments, that extra little 0.001% extra damage that can make the difference between a win and a loss in timeline, obviously not having the type disadvantage is going to be helpful for her, especially if we're going to be going up against other Jean Greys, along with the Adams and the Emmas and the Gores of the world. So having a universal is going to be helpful. She just has a normal debuff lead, so it'll be interesting to see if she gets anything else on top of that to go alongside, like I say, more contemporary characters like Sentry, like Gore. They have either attack or HP in their leaderships alongside the debuff. I don't actually know if she has an artifact or not. I don't think she does have one, does she? But yeah, obviously that's something we'll have to work on. She's currently order at the moment, so we'll have to have a look at that and see. But there we go. So yeah, be afraid. Yeah, be very afraid, because yeah, Jean is back, and being a native tier 2, it's going to cost a lot. I shudder to imagine how much it's going to cost to upgrade her to tier 4. Even getting her to level 80, it's going to cost so much in terms of Soul of the Faltine, Life Seed, Carbonadium. As you can see, I need to do my runs today, so I better finish this video and start getting to that, because I'm clearly going to need to stockpile a shed load of materials. But yeah, that's that for today. We shall have to wait and see when the patch notes drop next week. But until then, let me know what you guys think, and stay safe and have a good weekend. See you guys next time. Bye for now.